up, Rotten? At what point did we allow smartphones to turn into serving trays? If you want to buy a high-end phone today, you basically have to accept that it will require 2 hands to operate, weigh down your pants, and occasionally leave a permanent dent in your pinky finger. And yes, that is real apparently. Now, disclaimer, I do have a Pro Max myself, but that doesn't mean I don't notice the lack of small phone representation over the last several years. I'm an empath, and also shy of 50,000 subscribers, so helping Apple out. For a brief, glorious window, Apple cared about the little guy. Literally, they gave us the iPhone 12 and 13 mini. They gave us the classic, pocketable iPhone SE. But now, in 2026, those days feel like ancient history. The mini is dead. The SE line has morphed into a 6.1-inch behemoth. And when we begged Apple for a device that was actually manageable to hold, their response was essentially, how about a super thin phone instead? And so we got the iPhone 17 Air, a phone that is remarkably, terrifyingly thin, but still has a massive 6.5-inch screen. Apple has entirely missed the point. We don't just want less weight, we want less footprint. We want a small phone. Now let's take a quick history lesson. We have to understand how the definition of small have been completely distorted over the last decade. Back in 2010, Steve Jobs famously mocked the idea of a screen larger than 4 inches. He said nobody would buy them because you couldn't get your hand around them. Fast forward a few years, and the industry realized people absolutely loved huge screens for watching videos and playing games. The screens grew and grew and grew. But Apple recognized there was a small vocal minority of people holding on to their old tiny phones for dear life. Enter the original iPhone SE in 2016. It took the beloved blocky body of the iPhone 5S and stuffed the brains of the newer iPhone 6S inside. It was a massive hit. It was cheap, it was powerful, and most importantly, it was small. Then came 2020. Apple brought the SE back, this time recycling the iPhone 8 body. It was a little bigger at 4.7 inches, but with its massive top and bottom bezels, it still felt like a compact, old school device. The SE line would have been 10 this year. Rest in peace. The true renaissance though, the absolute peak of the small phone movement happened later that same year with the iPhone 12 mini. The mini was a revelation. Apple took the modern edge-to-edge bezel-less design of the flagship iPhone, complete with OLED screens and incredible cameras, and shrank it down to a 5.4-inch display. The body of the phone was actually physically smaller than the iPhone SE despite having a larger screen. Using the iPhone 13 mini was like a breath of fresh air. You can reach the top opposite corner of the screen with your thumb without doing that terrifying hand gymnastics shuffle where you pray you don't drop your $1,000 glass rectangle onto the pavement. It fits into any pocket. It was discreet. Being able to securely grip your phone and fire off a text or change a song with one hand without fearing that it'll be bumped out of your grasp is a huge deal. So what happened? Why did the mini die? Sales. It all comes down to the brutal reality of a global market. While tech enthusiasts, reviewers, and people with regular sized hands love the mini, the general public didn't buy it. The people who own one love it, but it was considered too niche overall. And Apple doesn't sell niche. Unless it's $3,500. When faced with the choice at the carrier store, most people opted to spend a little more money to get the standard 6.1-inch iPhone, or they went all out with the Pro Max. People use these phones as their primary televisions, their gaming consoles, and their main computers. For the vast majority of the world, bigger is always better. The iPhone 12 mini reportedly accounted for just 5% of total iPhone 12 sales. Apple tried one more time with the 13 mini, improved on the battery life issues, but the writing was still on the wall. By the time the iPhone 14 rolled around, the mini was replaced by the Plus, a massive 6.7-inch phone for people who wanted the big screen without the Pro price tag. The compact phone sanctuary was destroyed. Our only hope was the SE line. We thought, surely Apple would keep the SE small, right? But as we saw with the recent release of the iPhone 16e, which replaces the SE4, Apple's idea of a budget phone no longer means a small phone. They recycled the iPhone 14's 6.1-inch body. A better value, sure, but it isn't a small phone. And unfortunately, it is the same exact footprint as the standard flagship. Everyone loves the Apple ecosystem until you actually try to move a PDF between devices and the whole workflow falls apart. That's why you need PDF Element. It's the missing link that finally makes your Mac, iPhone, and iPad work as one continuous system. Imagine scanning a document on your iPhone and having it instantly pop up on your Mac. Fully searchable searchable and editable thanks to high-powered OCR. Once it's on your Mac, you have total control to edit text and images directly, just like a Word doc. But if you're more of a hands-on learner, you can jump over to your iPad. It's completely Apple Pencil friendly, so you can annotate and highlight naturally. Once you've crunched for time, PDF Element's AI tools take over. It can summarize massive reports, explain complex concepts, or even translate entire pages in seconds. So, stop fighting your files and start working smarter. Click the link in the description below to get access to PDF Element, and shout out to Wondershare for sponsoring this segment of the video. This brings us to the great compromise of 2025, the iPhone 17 Air. For years, people have been complaining that the Pro Max models are essentially bricks. They're heavy, fatigue-inducing slabs of titanium and glass. Apple heard the complaints and handled fatigue, but they misdiagnosed the cure. Instead of making a smaller screen, the iPhone 17 Air is an engineering marvel. It really is. It looks futuristic, and when you hold it, the lack of weight is shocking. But making a massive phone thinner doesn't solve the ergonomic problem of a small phone. A 6.5-inch screen still requires two hands to reach the top corners. A 6.5-inch screen still jabs you in the hip when you sit down with it in your front pocket. A 6.5-inch phone is still a little awkward to use while holding a cup of coffee on a moving train. The iPhone 17 Air solved the weight problem, but completely ignored the footprint one. We are way overdue for a small phone. Every manufacturer is making giant rectangles, but there is a massive void, a gaping hole in the market for truly premium compact devices. Think about the sheer number of people who are still desperately clinging to the iPhone 13 minis in 2026. Hell, I know one myself. The batteries are degrading, the chips are starting to show their age, but people refuse to upgrade because there's not much representation at the moment. The argument against small phones has always been battery physics. You can't fit a big battery into a small chassis, but chip efficiency has skyrocketed since then. The 819 chips we have right now are so incredibly power efficient, would have significantly better battery life than the 13 mini ever did. The technology is finally there to make a no-compromise small phone. Apple, you proved that you can make the thinnest phone in the world with the 17 Air. You proved you can bend the laws of physics to make a massive screen feel light. Now, take that same exact engineering prowess, that exact same ambition, and just shrink the footprint. Give us an iPhone 18 mini. Give it an edge-to-edge screen and a great camera. There is an entire demographic of users that don't want their phone to be an immersive, dual-handed cinematic experience. A lot of us just want a powerful, reliable tool that actually fits in our hands. The small phone shouldn't be left to dry. It is a form factor that respects portability, one-handed usability, and the fact that not everything we own needs to be max size. The iPhone 17 Air is cool, but it's not the answer. It is time to bring back the mini. Now, what do you think about small phones? Let me know in the comments. And if you would like to support this one-man team, check out my Patreon, where you'll get exclusive perks like getting access to videos early, getting your own Ryan avatar made, and more, along with my Ryan and Ryan Pro subscribers, Vasco, Francisco Beck, Carl Williams, and Miss Game. Thank you all for the support, as it keeps me dropping videos consistently, and thank you, viewer, for watching. If you want to see more of me, you know what to do. It's funny how it took me owning the biggest phone Apple produces to really appreciate what small phones have to offer. My only request is for all the people who keep wanting small phones to actually get one when they release. We have to keep small phones alive. They keep flopping.